I've had the privilege of being part of two cohorts now, and the cohorts form the backbone of what the Rephidim Project is all about, and that's making us better and to be better equipped at what God has called us to do and to encourage one another along in that process. I asked some of the guys who go to our group to just give me some feedback on what the cohort has meant to them. So here are two excerpts from what they've had to say. So one individual says, as a young pastor starting out, this group and its teachings have been a lifeline to me, helped me stick to the text and prevent deviation. Another one said, I have appreciated the camaraderie with other pastors. Being reminded of the basic needs in sermon prep has been great. But on top of that, it has been wonderful being able to share in the struggles of pastoral preaching with other guys who are in similar places. And I think that's twofold of what the cohort does. That's the equipping and the encouraging, and then the camaraderie and the building up of one another and the forming of friendships. It reminds me of soldiers being in a trench. You can imagine being in a war and being in that trench all alone. That being in that trench at that point would be much more difficult, wouldn't it be? The cohort is that trench, and you're reminded that there are other people who are battling for the same thing you are, for the heart, soul, minds, and of your congregation. Cohort encourages you in that battle and sharpens your aim. And you don't just grow in the knowledge of the Bible and how to preach, but you grow in the knowledge of each other. And I think that's a huge important aspect. I cannot emphasize just how much and how important these cohorts have been to me personally in my life. They encourage you in the calling that God has given you to do. You're challenged by each other as you look at God's word and look at the different ways, and you are to tackle that. It's kind of like basic training for the calling that you have. You're reminded of all those basic principles. So if you're not a part of a cohort, I would encourage you to become part of one. It keeps us humble too as we go through this together, and we're reminded that we're human, we're going to make mistakes, we don't have all the answers, and that we're dependent upon one another and God's Spirit to be able to fulfill the mission that He's called us to do.